Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night and wondering if you're making the most of your money? Or maybe you felt that twinge of worry when you hear about someone losing their savings because of a simple mistake they didn't even see coming. If you've been there, you're not alone. As we get older, managing money can feel like walking a tightrope. There's so much to think about, from making sure your nest egg lasts to figuring out how to leave something behind for your loved ones. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. In fact, by avoiding just a few common mistakes, you can take control of your financial future and enjoy peace of mind. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 money mistakes most seniors make. And trust me, these are the kinds of mistakes that can sneak up on you without you even realizing it. Some might seem small at first, but over time, they can add up to big problems. And one of them, number 3, is so important that it could literally cost you everything if you're not careful. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, sit back, and let's dive in. By the end of this video, you'll have some practical steps you can take to protect your finances and live the life you deserve. Let's start with the first mistake, failing to adjust your budget for retirement. You know, when you're working full-time, it's easy to fall into a rhythm. Your paycheck comes in, you pay your bills, and maybe you set aside a little for savings. But once you retire, things change. Your income might come from Social Security, pensions, or retirement accounts, and it's often less predictable than a regular paycheck. Yet, many people don't take the time to rethink their spending habits. They keep living like they did before, assuming everything will work out fine. But here's the reality. Without a clear plan, it's easy to overspend and run into trouble later on. Think about it this way. Imagine you're on a road trip, and instead of planning where to stop for gas, you just drive until the tank runs dry. That might work for a while, but eventually you'll find yourself stranded. The same is true with your money. A budget isn't about restricting yourself. It's about giving yourself freedom. When you know exactly where your money is going, you can make choices that align with what matters most to you. Maybe that means taking a trip to see your grandkids or finally fixing up that old garden you've been dreaming about. Whatever it is, having a plan ensures you're using your resources wisely. So, how do you create a retirement budget? Start by listing all your sources of income: Social Security, pensions, withdrawals from retirement accounts, and any other money coming in. Then, write down your expenses. Don't forget about those sneaky little costs, like subscriptions or memberships you might not even use anymore. Once you have a clear picture, see where you can make adjustments. For example, if you notice you're spending a lot on dining out, maybe you can cut back a bit and put that money towards something more meaningful. It's all about balance. Now, let's move on to the second mistake. Underestimating healthcare costs. This is a big one, and it's something I've seen catch so many people off guard. When you're younger, health insurance might cover most of your medical expenses, and you don't think too much about it. But as we age, healthcare becomes a much bigger part of our lives and our budgets. Even with Medicare, there are still premiums, co-pays, prescriptions, and other out-of-pocket costs that can add up quickly. And if you need long-term care, like assistance at home or in a nursing facility, those expenses can skyrocket. Here's a story that might sound familiar. A friend of mine, Margaret, retired a few years ago thinking she had everything figured out. She was healthy, active, and didn't anticipate needing much medical care. But then, she started having trouble with her knees and needed surgery. Between the procedure, follow-up visits, and physical therapy, her costs added up faster than she expected. She hadn't planned for that kind of expense, and it put a real strain on her finances. Margaret's story isn't unique. It happens to so many people because healthcare costs are unpredictable. The good news is there are steps you can take to prepare. First, make sure you understand what Medicare covers and what it doesn't. Many people assume Medicare will take care of everything, but that's not the case. Consider supplemental insurance, like a Medigap policy, to help cover gaps in coverage. Also, think about setting aside money, specifically for healthcare expenses. A health savings account, HSA, can be a great tool if you're eligible, or you can simply create a dedicated fund within your overall savings. The key is to be proactive. By planning ahead, you can avoid being blindsided by unexpected medical bills. Now that we've covered the importance of adjusting your budget and preparing for healthcare costs, let's move on to the third mistake. This one is especially critical because, as I mentioned earlier, it could cost you everything. It's something that affects so many seniors, often without them even realizing it until it's too late. Stay tuned, because understanding this mistake and how to avoid it could make all the difference in protecting your financial security. The third mistake is one that keeps me up at night when I think about how many seniors fall into this trap, falling victim to scams and financial exploitation. Now, before you brush this off thinking, that would never happen to me, let me tell you something. Scammers are smart, and they're getting better every day. They know exactly how to target seniors because they understand that many of us are trusting, polite, and sometimes a little too willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. It's not about being naive, it's about being human. And unfortunately, that makes us vulnerable. Let me share an example that might hit close to home. A few years ago, my neighbor Bill got a call from someone claiming to be his grandson. The voice on the other end sounded frantic, saying he was in trouble and needed money right away. Bill, being the caring grandfather he is, immediately wired several $1,000s to help him out. It wasn't until later that he realized it was all a scam. His actual grandson was safe and sound, completely unaware of what had happened. By then, the money was gone, and there was nothing Bill could do to get it back. Stories like this break my heart because they're so preventable, but only if we stay vigilant. So, how do you protect yourself? First, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Scammers often create a sense of urgency, pressuring you to act quickly before you have time to think things through. Don't let them rush you. Take a step back, hang up the phone, and verify the information with someone you trust, a family member, a friend, or even your bank. Another red flag is anyone asking for payment in unusual ways like gift cards or wire transfers. Legitimate organizations won't ask for money that way. It's also important to safeguard your personal information. Never give out your social security number, bank account details, or passwords unless you're absolutely sure who you're dealing with. Be cautious online too. Phishing emails and fake websites are everywhere, designed to trick you into handing over sensitive information. If you're unsure about an email or link, don't click on it. Instead, go directly to the official website by typing the address into your browser. And if you live alone or feel like you might need extra support, consider enlisting a trusted family member or financial advisor to help monitor your accounts for anything suspicious. Now let's talk about the fourth mistake, failing to update beneficiaries and estate plans. This one might not seem as urgent as avoiding scams, but it's just as critical. Life changes. People pass away, relationships evolve, and priorities shift. Yet so many seniors forget to review their wills, trusts, and beneficiary designations to make sure they reflect their current wishes. Imagine working hard your whole life to build a legacy, only to have it go to someone you didn't intend, or worse, tied up in legal battles because your documents weren't updated. Here's a scenario that illustrates why this matters. A woman named Evelyn had named her husband as the sole beneficiary of her retirement account decades ago. After he passed away, she remarried and assumed her new spouse would automatically inherit everything. But here's the thing. Without updating her beneficiary forms, the money went to her late husband's estate instead. It caused unnecessary stress and complications for her second husband and children. All of this could have been avoided with a simple update. Updating your beneficiaries doesn't have to be complicated. Start by gathering all your financial documents, life insurance policies, retirement accounts, bank accounts, and check who's listed as the primary and contingent beneficiaries. Make sure those names align with your current intentions. While you're at it, take a look at your will and any trusts you've set up. Are they still accurate? Do they reflect the life you're living now? If not, it's worth consulting with an attorney to make the necessary changes. Yes, it might cost a little upfront, but it's a small price to pay for peace of mind. Finally, let's move on to the fifth mistake: keeping too much money in low-interest savings accounts. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't it safer to keep my money in a savings account where I can access it whenever I need it? And yes, having some liquid assets is important for emergencies and short-term needs. But the problem arises when all your money is sitting in accounts that earn next to nothing in interest. Inflation eats away at your purchasing power, which means your hard-earned savings could actually lose value over time. Think about it this way. Imagine you worked tirelessly to save $100,000 over the years. You stash it in a traditional savings account earning 0.5% interest annually. Meanwhile, inflation is running at 3%. Over time, the real value of your savings decreases, leaving you with less buying power than when you started. That's why it's crucial to strike a balance between safety and growth. You don't have to gamble with risky investments, but there are plenty of low-risk options that offer better returns than a standard savings account. One option to consider is certificates of deposit CDs, which typically offer higher interest rates than regular savings accounts. They're FDIC insured, so your money is protected, and you can choose terms that fit your needs. Another possibility is treasury bonds or municipal bonds, which provide steady income while keeping your principal relatively secure. If you're unsure where to start, talk to a financial advisor who specializes in working with seniors. They can help you create a strategy that balances accessibility, safety, and growth. We've covered a lot today, haven't we? From adjusting your budget in retirement, to protecting yourself from scams, updating your beneficiaries, and making smarter choices with your savings. It's clear that managing money as a senior requires thoughtfulness and intentionality. These aren't just abstract concepts. They're actionable steps you can take to safeguard your financial future and enjoy the lifestyle you deserve. Let's recap briefly. First, creating a realistic retirement budget ensures you're using your resources wisely and avoiding overspending. Second, preparing for healthcare costs helps you handle unexpected medical expenses without derailing your finances. Third, staying vigilant against scams protects your hard-earned savings from fraudsters looking to exploit you. Fourth, updating your beneficiaries and estate plans guarantees that your assets go to the right people according to your wishes. And finally, exploring low-risk investment options allows your money to grow while keeping it safe. Remember, these changes don't have to happen overnight. Start small. Review your budget, check your beneficiaries, or call your bank to discuss your savings options. Every step you take brings you closer to financial security and peace of mind. And don't hesitate to reach out for help, whether it's a trusted family member, a financial advisor, or a local community resource. There are people who want to support you on this journey. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you encountered any of these mistakes in your own life? Or maybe you've found a solution that worked wonders for you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your experiences could inspire others who are facing similar challenges. While you're there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more tips and advice tailored just for you. Here's the truth. Aging doesn't mean giving up control of your life. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This is your time to focus on what truly matters, whether that's spending quality moments with loved ones, pursuing hobbies you've always dreamed of, or simply enjoying the quiet pleasures of daily life. By taking charge of your finances, you're ensuring that you can do all those things without worrying about money holding you back. So, here's to living your best life at any age. Thank you for joining me today, and remember, you've got this. See you in the next video.